Look, take a look. It's 8:02. Disclosure's up there. You guys know the drill. It is 9:14. It is a Monday. It's a new week. Let's get ourselves going here. All right, so here we are. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to Redler All Access Morning Call. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. You fed the brain a little bit, did a little exercise, a little family, a little fun, some beverage, some food, all the things you want to do on a weekend. So with that said, here we are. It's a new week. Question is, I was out and about a lot this weekend. People are like, oh, Red Dog, do you think tech put the highs in for 2020? Do you think the S&P put the highs in for 2020? I'm like, it's a guess. Everyone's guessing. Same people who thought 2850 would be the high of the S&P, and who went all the way to 3585 or whatever it is. I'm like, at this point, a lot of people have made and lost a lot of money. Some people bought and sold tech very well. As an active trader like me, like you probably, do I have a little less risk on? Yes, because we broke the momentum trend. We're now below the 8-21-day moving average. Can we go lower? Maybe. At this point, we have a lower range to navigate. They're starting to give us a little misdirection back and forth, so you have to be a bit more careful, meaning they're playing with the ends of the range without giving much follow through. So sometimes it can be very violent within a small range. Tech is still the most important. We'll see today, how does tech react? Does pivot resistance get sold? We've been able to sell strength on like a Thursday and a Friday. Friday was a great short for a lot of guys. I don't know if they're going to be able to be that easy to sell these today, but we'll see. You have some news about vaccine trials again, which is positive, and that might be for the rebalance trade. You have a deal in the semiconductor land with NVIDIA, and then you also have the whole TikTok instead of Microsoft, which Microsoft's down. It's going to Oracle, which is up. So we'll see. Overall, this is NVIDIA, which we'll get to. Let's start first with the S&P cash. Let's go back to where is the chart of the S&P cash? Oop, that's Twitter. It's going to NVIDIA. Here's, I already put this out this morning. So this is your lower range. So just magnify it a bit here. Let's magnify it so we can see the levels a little closer. So again, this was when the momentum level broke. This is when your 8-day broke. This is when the 21-day broke. All in all, we held the 50. So 33.10 is really important. Question is, does it get above and stay above 33.68? And if it does, really, this is your next spot. It's the 8 and 21-day that's curling lower. So do we stay below it and then get rejected and continue, or not? We like to be in a portfolio approach when you're above the 8 and 21-day, which it was from pretty much July all the way through to the peak, which happened September 2nd. So now the question is, do we go sideways for a bit? Remember last time? This was the last time we actually broke an accelerated trend. You had actually a pretty strong red dog reversal that wound up coming up and wound up getting all choppy until finally another red dog reversal that took back the moving averages, which we were above from July all the way to the peak. So now the question is, do we stay below the moving averages and then maybe reclaim them and act a bit better, or do we get to fail today and then all of a sudden this comes back into play and then that comes into play and then this comes into play? It's hard to tell. At this point, tech doesn't look overly exciting this morning. It's not like tech is up more than the actual futures. The futures seem like they're stronger than tech, so we'll see how that goes. With the Qs, you can look at this also. I just posted this before. Let's get a closer look here. The Qs, 275.22 is Friday's high. The Qs right now are, 270, 273-ish. So there's a little room, to get to 275 if it wants. If it gets there and backs off and some of the key names go red, all right, maybe you could fade more of the Qs. I actually sold what did I sell? I sold the 279 and the 280s because I figured this was key resistance. I sold premium up there instead of being short over the weekend, which I guess is helping now because I don't have to cover for now, but I'll hold it and let them suck out some premium and see if we take out 275 and see this later this week, then I'll figure out what I want to do with it. The Apple event is Tuesday, so I can't see them doing something so extreme until, the Apple event. Sometimes they try and sell it, and if they can't sell it, it rallies. So anyway, 275.22, so there is some room if you're not long overnight and you think that, you want to play a bounce for another point or point and a half, that's there. Or if you're going to, fade, at least wait till you get a more compelling level. But then if it gets here and hangs here and leaders act well, there's $4 more in the room until you get to the upper end of this range. So we'll see. SPYs are a little bit stronger. SPYs 337 is Friday's high. So I don't know why I'd always get stuck on this thing here. Not this. Let's make this bigger. Everybody complains it's hard to see. So here's 337. That is the high, and then the moving averages, which have been resistance the past few times, is moving down. So that's 339.50. So if you go to the SPYs right now are right around 337.10. So they're actually closer to Friday's high. So we'll see, does it get rejected there or not? That's the initial thought. And then the rebalance trade. Will they finally get some action? So this is the Jets. I got stopped out of the Jets just because I was lazy with it. But I still have some calls on for this Friday, 1875 calls, which might be worthless, maybe not. If maybe the Jets act a little bit better, is it worth a look, to see if you could buy it from here to there? Perhaps. It's not an over focus or an over trade, but it's just good to see what it's doing for the broader indices. Same thing with Bank of America. Too in this little zone, it's just horrible. So it's definitely not a focus at all. If anything, maybe you buy versus a level and see if there's a spot for it to fill for just some cash flow. But buying strength in any banks have not been the way to do it. Let's move on to the names that we play very intently. So Tesla, real quickly. I'll post that chart in a little bit. Again, just not to re-look, but again, this is when it fell to hold 500. That's when they said they were selling $5 billion worth of stock. This is when it broke below a prior low. This was a breaking of the 8-day, which was the strong trend. We did very well here. I think I had my biggest trade of my career almost, with Tesla from 1550 to over 2,000 with options, the way we did it. But anyway, what now? So does it hold 360? Does Tesla get rejected at 382? Right now, Tesla's only at 279. So if you're going to look to short it, you could short it versus 382. If it gets above 382 and reclaims the 21 day, hey, maybe it starts acting better. At this point, it's not it's not the same Tesla as it was when it broke out here. And I don't think you just blindly short it, and it's getting a little thicker. So it might just need time. So anyway, I would not be buying the open in Tesla, and I also probably just wouldn't be shorting it right away. If anything, it'd be great if it could build in here and go sideways and build a new inner range. So then we get a better trade later this week, but we'll see. 382 is key resistance, and then there's nothing until 398. So if it pushes through, hey, maybe there's a trade from the long side. If you want to fade it and you think tech's going to come down, then that's your resistance one. Apple also has its has the big event day on what's it called, on a Tuesday. So today might be just kind of out of play. Will they break it down today before event day? Probably not. Can they rally at $3 to $5? We'll see. Right now, all you know is 115 is resistance. Right now, Apple is below it. It's trading at 113.79. So, it's not outperforming pre-market. So it's still kind of an Thursday, Friday was the first one to be sold. We made some good money shorting this thing actually on Thursday and Friday as it failed to hold 119 and came lower. And then it also had a nice, lower move. But anyway, for me, just as a hedge, I bought some 107 puts that I'm just going to sit with, even though they'll be down a little bit this morning because Apple's up a little bit this morning. I don't care. But if they sell the event Tuesday or sell it on Wednesday, it'll be a way for me to have a hedge in the market because I'm not a great short. Some people think I'm okay short, but to me, I'd rather not be short. But if this breaks this spot here and the market heads lower, I don't want to be pressing it at 110, or I might if it happens in a way that I'm comfortable doing it, but I wanted some exposure on there. So we'll see. 110 is key. Resistance, if it gets above 115, maybe there's some room up to the moving averages also here, which is 117.80. So really the theme is, do we get above and stay above Friday's high and get into bigger resistance, or do things get rejected there? Amazon's been very, just a range trade. A lot of guys did, pretty well in this stock, from here as it rode the trend all the way to the upside, and this is where it broke. I took I didn't get out as fast with all of it, but most of it. Anyway, here, you had your bounce back to 33.03, got rejected. Now you have this inside range here. So 32.17 is Friday's high. So if you're looking to fade Amazon, just because it's up $42, just realize, it's at 31.59 and 32.17 is Friday's high. So if they want to take these things to Friday's high, you have to be careful. If it's that weak and it opens up 42 and goes red, tech's still for sale, and then this is your lower level here. I guess if it got down to this area, maybe then I'll position in some kind of call spread for earnings. But until then, I'm kind of just going to let it play out a little bit. It's hard to trade, man. There's, $6 spreads. It's loose and wide. So, when it was tight and moving up, I was trying to stay with it as long as I can. But then once it broke, now it's like I'd rather trade some things that have more liquidity and don't have big spreads unless it's like compelling. So we'll see. Like, Facebook might be a little easier to trade, even though it's also broke its trend here. This one we sold well into strength. Now hit a low of 262. Same thing as Apple. Like if 271.50 is right here, does it get above and stay above and see 277 or not? But these are the things. These are the same thoughts going across the board. Snap's interesting. Snap, we made a lot of money on. Snap actually is trending. Okay, we started a swing long in here. I've started option trades in there too. Snap is what? It's up 18 cents. I sold a little bit this morning, up 30 cents, just in case they think, oh, now Snap, some people got overly excited that maybe, TikTok will have to be removed from the U.S., which means a lot more people for Snap. But I don't think it's that correlated, but emotionally it might be. So I trimmed a little bit so I could buy some back, and I still have options. Twitter was a great trade for us now. Not a whole lot to do here. It was a great trade as it was tight in here, went all the way up to 44. We sold it well and then got rid of my call spread when it broke 41. Now it's just an inside range trade. I guess if it got above this, maybe it's acting better. And with the election and people, using Twitter for everything, I still love it. At some point I'll get back in it, but I don't have much on now. NVIDIA, like we said before, is up, 522 is some resistance. Right now it's at 516, so it's got some room to there. Would I fade NVIDIA? Probably not. Would I buy it? Probably not, but it's good to watch it for sentiment for now. Microsoft is lower because I guess they're not taking over TikTok or whatever that is. Microsoft's down $1.30. The low here is what? 201.24. 201.24. I might look at it this morning. Some people might say, hey, they would have had to overpay for something that they didn't need. So maybe, maybe it's an emotional move lower and it's buyable. We'll see. This is 201.24. Microsoft right now is 202. So it might be worth a look. We actually played this perfectly. Some of these things we played perfectly where we sold strength and I'm like, I don't care if it goes higher. Others I tried to stay with, which you had to salvage. This one we bought in here and used options and sold into that move and didn't have to navigate this like we had to do with some other ones. Anyway, let's get this line out of here. I gotta get rid of this yellow line. I don't understand what that is doing there. Oh, here we go. Now I can move this down a little bit. Or not. Get this out of here. Okay. Anyway, hey, so now, this could be, your line in the sand, and perhaps it goes green. I did buy Walmart just on a different note, so I bought it on Friday. So it is lower. I'm going to figure out, it's still down from 151. I don't think people were basing Walmart's business model on whether or not, it did a joint merger with friggin' TikTok or whatever the hell they were doing there. So I'm probably going to buy I bought a little bit more pre-market, 135.55. If it claims that, I'll add more. 135.55. I think the algos are emotionally selling it down, which maybe that's an opportunity for us or not. But 134 is a bigger level, and the 50-day is down at 133. So I'm going to give it a little bit more room and see how it goes. I bought a little bit more pre-market. Again, it's not up here like I was really anticipating this deal happening with Walmart. So down here, it could be worth a look. So the first time playing that in a while. Let's move on. Okay, so let's go to SPACland. First of all, this SPAQ has been fantastic. We've been long it in here. It's kind of all the way up to 16 and 17. It's already at 16.50. I went, I was in tier 1.5, and then the news came out Friday, and I was buying it all after hours at 15.80, and now I'm, going to sell some and hold some. It looks really good. Congratulations if you've been holding it. It actually was above the 8-day during a 10% correction in the NASDAQ, so that gave me, some confidence in holding it. this NKLA is in the news. A lot of people, on this day with GM, gave it all back, get the hell out of the way. I think most of us did a good job doing that, including me. Now the question is down here. It's definitely a battleground, but I wouldn't be pressing it down there, and there's a chance that you might get a reflex long. Right now, it's been all over the map. It's been down 2, it's been down 3, it's been flat. At this point, this is some pretty big support coming in here. So if you're not involved, and right now it's just a trade. Right now here it is. It's hovering right at that 31-ish area, which I would wait till the open. Or if you're trading pre-market, I can't do it because I'm doing the morning call and I got to do the charts and everything there is to do. But if you're trading it, just be careful. It could be worth a look when the market opens. As far as some of the others, I haven't really been in this one in a while. The SHLL. It did break the 8-day. It has some room down to the 21-day. This was a fantastic moneymaker. It changed people's lives, people told me, from here all the way up to the 50s. But, if the lead SPAC is having some trouble, maybe people think, hey, let's just take a little bit off, risk here, even though it's going to do its S1 soon. So anyway, I would be interested in the low 40s if it gets there. I'm not saying it's going to get there, but we'll see. This low here is 45. But again, we'll see how it goes. From 58 down to 40, then I'm interested. But we'll see if not saying it might not get there. It might. If Nikola goes from down 80 cents to up 3, probably helps the sector a little bit. I'm in this HCCH, which a lot of guys like. I had a day one. There's a lot of these. Some of them I have like a position in, and some I just want to keep on my radar just in case. So this, I don't even really know what this does. All I know is on the chart, it kind of poked its head above 11. What is it doing today? It's up 38 cents, which is nice. Maybe I trim some. This IPOB we started buying and accumulating. This one I think I'm going to stay with a little bit more. Probably need some time in here. There's talk that Elon Musk's Neuralink is going to come inside this. So I'm going to accumulate this a little bit closer to the 12 area, and then maybe in time it takes out that high. So I think close to 12, it's an accumulate. Right now it's not doing much this morning. On this prior high is what? This is 1333. So we'll see. What else? There was one other that this I'm just going to address now. CML. What is it? FU. It's another SPAC. Just came out. Might take a month. Might take 2 months. But I'm hearing that the guy that created this one is very, very astute, and he's had a bunch of them that have done very well. So buying in here in the tens when nobody really knows what it is, and then all of a sudden it wakes up, whether it's 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, but not a lot of people could do that. That's why it's on the VTF and you'll see it. I'm going to just have some bids in around 1030, 1040 and let it sit and accumulate a bunch for when it gets closer to, whatever it is or whatever they're going to acquire. It's not for everyone. Doesn't trade a lot of volume, but I wanted to just touch on it because you're going to see it. DraftKings I bought at the end of the day. I feel like, you had a lot of sports go on. DraftKings was everywhere. I would say as long as this holds, what is this low here? 40-ish. That would be my stop. It shouldn't get below 40 if it's going to be any good. So I'll hold. That'll be my stop. It's up a dollar or so. I already sold a little bit. I'm going to hold a little bit. And then in time, I guess if sports stay open, maybe there's another trade for it to finally clear, this spot here, which will be probably, for another time. Right now, I keep glancing at this Nikola. If it feels like if it goes positive again, and maybe they squeeze some short, so it'd be worth a look here at 3140. We'll see. Anyway, I got to do my work. It's a trader. It keeps bringing me over there, as I'm not in it, or I haven't been in it for these 8 points to the downside. Anyway, MBIO finally had a big volume. Day one type move where if I didn't know what the hell this thing was, I'd be like, oh, this is interesting now. Look at that. Meanwhile, you still have just this huge channel. And by the way, this thing was right here before Cantor said, hey, I'm going to give you guys $30 million. Do you take it or leave it? And he took it. That's why you had that move lower. Now Cantor has a conference with them on Wednesday. So I'm sure they're going to, I would think they would talk very positively about them. And they also have Hamburg and Quist today, and then they have, I think, another one on next Monday. So obviously, I guess they're happy with what's happening because they're going out and trying to present themselves to get more interest, which I think I'm still a buyer up until about 380, and then from 380 to here, I would trim some, and then with some real news on FDA, et cetera, et cetera. My friends are thinking 10, 12, 14 plus next year. So it's not for everyone. If you're in it, it finally looks a little bit better. So we'll see. There's other, bios going nuts everywhere. Some guys were talking about, what were they in this morning? Some guys like this SGen. What's that doing this morning? SGEN. That's up 12. Wow. Some had that IMMU, not me. I guess it was tight there. All right. Wow. That's why bios are exciting, man. You catch one that gets taken over, that gets a real FDA approval, but again, sometimes they miss and they get cut in half. So if you're thinking about, playing some bios, not like MBIO, it's 340, like some that are higher, go out like 2 months and buy options. At least risk is premium paid. So with that said, I have to do finish up the morning notes so you guys get it. Lastly, gold is real tight here. Fed is on Wednesday, so maybe it has I don't know if it has a pre-move or not, but it's going to have to get above and stay above 183-ish to get better. It's right now right around there. It's been holding in there. I'm not involved in gold, but some of you guys that are, looks tight and looks like something's going to happen soon. You have a series of lower highs, so if that changes, perhaps it starts acting better for you guys that are involved. That said, it's Monday. We got to get moving here. The note might be 15, 20 minutes late, as I'm trying to get as much out to you as possible, and continue to connect the dots, and we'll see where we go from there. Good luck this morning.